last week we were having some issues with some errors when we start up our new project. And thanks to the Banter dev team, they've pinpointed exactly how to fix that. So I'm going to be demonstrating that today. We'll set up a completely brand new project, a Unity 6 one, and then if there's any errors that we encounter uh, on the way, then we will try to get the solution and solve that because people might encounter that currently when you set up the SDK. All right, so first of all, I'm pretty sure you guys are very familiar with the Unity Hub. So you do want to have the latest version of Unity Hub. And so very familiar. What you want to do is go into new projects. And very important, if you have multiple editors that were installed, you want to select the Unity 6 version. Currently, the Banter client, so the Banter base game itself, it is using the Unity 6.2.14F1. So that's what I have downloaded. They should be updating it to the Unity 6.3 long-term support pretty soon. So we will probably be using that later on. But for the time being, I'm just going to be sticking with the exact version that Banter is using right now. So if you do not have this version of Unity 6 downloaded yet, you would have to go into your install tab. You would select, let's see, you want to, hit install editor. And usually in this first page here, it's only going to be showing you like the long-term support stuff or the latest version that's available. And in order to get an older version, you have to go into the archives and you would click the download archive button. Takes you to this page and you should be able to find that exact version that we are going to be using. So we're just right here and you just have to hit install. It'll brings it right straight into the Unity Hub. And when we are installing the editor, there are a few things that you do want to make sure to add. So this is the add module tab. In here, normally the Visual Studio 2022 is already selected by default. You would want to make sure that Android build support and whichever childs that it has, it's also being checked. And another one that you want to make sure is on is this Windows build support IL2CPP. Okay, so these are the all the things that you would need. So now, since we have it installed, we are gonna start a new project. And so go back to projects tab, new project. As I mentioned, you want to go into the proper version. And here, it's a little bit tricky when you're doing it the first time because you would need to select the correct template to begin with. They always put the SLP ones or like the high definition ones like at the very top. So that's the universal render pipeline. And you do not want to use that because Banter is using the the built-in render pipeline. And you don't see it up here. So what they do is they actually hit it all the way at the bottom. So if you have not downloaded this template yet, it's hidden down here. So you do want to download this. That's it. And if you're going to start a new project later on after you downloaded your template, it should be showing up at the top as well. So now it does show up in the top after you downloaded it. All right. So, yeah, you just have to name your project, find your location. The Unity version control is like a cloud service. Do believe you do have certain space limit for free that you can use through Unity. But for this demonstration, I'm just gonna do a local project, so it doesn't have to be synced to the cloud. Oh, sorry. And here, very important, make sure you selected that. Okay. All right. So create a new project. It's gonna take a little while, so while we're waiting for that, we will go into the Banter website to download the latest. Well, it's the SDK package. So we go into the docs and support. From here, we would want to go into the SDK v2 avatar documentation. Now you want to scroll down a little bit to this download SDK installer. So this document is a little bit outdated. They are working on updating it. It's still telling you to use the Unity version like 2022. So just ignore that. And yeah, click download. There we go. Yeah, just save it on my desktop for now. So now we do have it here. And while, yeah, so we have to wait for the project to finish loading. All right, so let's continue. So now, since the project is opened, what we're gonna do is get back to our Unity package that we just downloaded, which is the SDK. All you have to do is double click it, and you just have to import. Okay, so now we have added the SDK package. You'll be getting a pop-up like this. It's just telling you it's going to be adding the Banter layers and tags. Hit yes. Also hit yes. Okay, and it's going to tell you that oh, your visual scripting settings not initialized yet. Just hit OK. It should do everything for you. Alrighty. So now the SDK should be fully installed. And while we wait, if anybody have any questions regarding to anything, you could always yeah, just yell and get my attention, and I will answer your question with my best knowledge. Okay, all the loading should be finished. And the quickest way to see if we actually got the SDK installed properly is that you would see the Banter tab at the very top here. You can also just open up, just click it, so then you would have your builder ready for you. And first thing I always do is to link the builder with my SideQuest account. So then when I need to update my scene, it's all ready to go. So there we go. So now we are locked in. So, one thing I do want to show you guys, I believe I also showed it last week, is that there are some bugs sometimes that might change some of the settings in your project settings, and it will be giving you some errors, or when you open the project, it'll send you to the safe mode. And I'm gonna show you guys what that is. So in the project settings tab, you want to search for API, and under API capability level. So .NET framework is the correct one. So you do want to make sure that it is on .NET framework. But sometimes, for whatever reason, if you did some work on your project, you save it or you close it, you build it through the builder. For whatever reason, it'll get set back to .NET Standard 2.1, and that's when you'll start getting some errors. So if we encounter that, we'll come back here to switch it back to .NET Framework. But for now, it's looking good. All right. So last week, all I did is adding a quad as the floor. Make this 90 degrees. Let's make this 100. All right, so now we have a big floor here. Has a collider on it. And when I try to go into play mode, so play mode is such a very handy tool in your editor. You could always test out your scene before uploading to Banter. So last week, when I go into play mode, it started giving me a bunch of errors. So see if we'll also get that. And also, you would always get this pop up saying there's this Banter link. When the first time when you do it in a project, it always gives you that. It's just the stuff behind the scene that works with like your index HTML, like stuff like that, JavaScript, Boost script. So you do want to make sure that that's on. And now, oh, yep, that's correct. So I am getting those errors. Look at this. I have more than 999 errors. It just keeps spamming my console. And this is a brand new project. So how are we gonna fix that? And I'm not able to move. So normally I can hold down my right click and I can turn and like use WASD to walk around in my play mode. So let's stop that. And in order to fix that, we're just gonna go into our edit tab, go into project settings again, and what we're gonna do is go into the player. So the player tab, you wanna find, let's see, input, yeah. So active input handling. So that's the thing you wanna change. So currently, it was set to input system package new. So what happens is there are actually some of the input system that Banter is still using as part of the old system. So this is why you need to select both. So first thing here, .NET Framework. So yeah, so we want to make sure it's the API capability level .NET Framework. All right, and then the other one was the active input handling. So we want to set that to both. So now let's test out our scene again in play mode. Keep the console open. Yeah, and currently you might still be getting this error here, but as I was told, this shouldn't matter at the moment, so you could just ignore it. All right, let's go into play mode. And let's look at that. We're not getting spammed with. Okay, well, we are getting spam with some. What are these? Oh, okay, yeah, it's just telling me there are two audio listeners in the scene, but yeah, but this is not an issue. So, okay, so now as you can see, I can hold down my right click. I can move around. Yep, and I can test stuff directly in the editor before uploading into Banter. So yeah, so that solved our issue that we encountered last week. So as a quick demo, let's quickly upload a scene, and we could probably jump into it and look at an empty scene. And one thing that I always like to do is import the banter samples, so then I can actually get the spawn points game object. So what I would do is go into your window, package manager, and from here you do want to go into your in project tab, and you would see the Banter SDK here. Under Banter SDK, you see samples. And these are really awesome scenes that Eileen has put a lot of work into. I always like to go in there, dissect the scripts that she made, or any like rigid body objects, to see how things works, and yeah, and then apply those knowledge to your own will. That's imported. This. Now, if you go back to your project tab, you should see a new folder called samples. Here's DK, basics. So in here, I always just go to the basic one, basic scene, just open that. And now, as you can see, there's this beautiful scene here, but you don't see anything. You don't see any text because you're missing Text Mesh Pro. So you do want to go into, I believe, Windows. Is it? Yeah. So Window, Text Mesh Pro, import TMP Essential Resources. So click that, import it. It's imported. You don't see it yet. That's fine. You just have to open the scene again, and bam, all your texts are there now. And so one thing I always grab from here is this space settings visual script game object. So what I would do, Control C, Control V, so Control C to copy. And now I'm gonna go back to our original scene. And now I'm gonna paste this game object in here. And it also would be added this scene variables. It's currently empty, which is fine. You could just leave it there. And now, if you hit edit graph, you would be able to see the settings. So on this graph by default, it has teleport on. You could also enable Spider-Man if you want to. You could also make sure like enable name tags is on or radars on. If you're doing some kind of gamified worlds, like a shooting game or hide and seek stuff like that, then you could actually force the name tags and radar to be off. By doing so, the player wouldn't be able to turn back on their name tags or radar. So then, if you're doing like a hide and seek game, shooting game, then people can really cheat by turning on the radar. All right, so yeah, we'll just leave those on for now. Another thing that I would do is this spawn point object here. So what that is basically telling the script where the spawn point is gonna be. Currently, it's not set yet, so I can just do type in this and connect that to the spawn object. So what that means is now it knows that this itself, it's gonna be the spawn location. And also, something very important that you want to know is the blue arrow, as you can see, that's gonna be the position that you're gonna be facing when you first spawned in. And you do want to make sure that you're in your scene tab here, make sure that is set to local, so you actually see the local rotation of this game object. Because global, it's always gonna be the same way. So the z-axis is always gonna be this way. So for example, if I am in local, I rotate this 90 degrees. As you can see, now this when you spawn in, you're gonna be facing that way instead. And if you go to global, it's just gonna be telling you the global orientation. It's always gonna be that way for z-axis. Okay, so now that way, and I can just, let's say I'll just add a cube here, so we know when we're looking at the cube, that's the way that we're gonna be facing. Okay, and one thing that I always like to add in here to make sure that people are spawning incorrectly, because sometimes if your scene is loaded too quickly, it might actually skip all these stuff. So what I would always do is add a node and do wait for seconds. So usually you could add 1 or 2 seconds to it. It should guarantee that this whole script graph would only be triggered after 2 seconds when you load in. Because sometimes when you load it in too quickly, these stuff would load before it actually get activated, and it won't be applied. So do 2 seconds, 1 second. And this is also very important. So in I would believe even in C# or in Unity Visual Scripting, whenever you're dealing with things to do with time, so this is a time node, right? You need to make sure your flow is a coroutine. So basically just that little check mark, make sure that's on, and that's it. So now we can test it out, because if let's say without this game object, when we spawned in, we should be spawning in at 000, and we'll be looking at that way instead. And let me just move this game object here. So if I have that enabled, we should be spawning in over here instead and looking that way. So let's give that a try. So right now, this is disabled. So we should be spawning into right in the center, 0 point, facing that way. There we go. So now we spawned in at the default point. This is 0, and if you look, see, yeah, so this is the original spawn point. Yeah, facing that way. All right, so now let's stop that. And now let's activate our script graph for the scene settings. And we should see the difference. So now we should be spawning in over here, looking that way. Let's see if that works. All right, yeah. So as you probably notice, it took like 2 seconds before it puts us over here. So if you look over to the left, yep, that's right. So now we are actually in our new spawn point where we set it. So it's working fine. So now let's build the scene and go check it out like in game. So yeah, so make sure I saved it. I have my spawn point, and now, um, in order to get this scene into Banter into a world, we're just gonna drag this in here. And before we upload it, there's something very important that we would want to do is to set up a new groups in the SideQuest website. So it used to call the create a space, but now it's create a group. I think they might actually update that again eventually to have a separate thing for worlds. So it's gonna be called worlds eventually. So let's call it demo. At least 10 characters. Yeah, that should be good. So now we have a new group here now. First thing we want to do is go into the banter tab, scroll, go down here, host of side quests. So now you'll be getting your space URL right here. So eventually, if you do want to uh, have your world featured, you could always ask for a custom URL as well that fits what your world is. So, but for now, we're just gonna keep it as the default one. Just copy that. You want to delete the rest because it's already there. And I would select auto upload and make sure, yeah. So if you haven't done it yet, just make sure you drag that scene into here. And now you could hit build. Are you sure? Confirmed. That's gonna take a little while. Shouldn't I do not recommend doing it manually because it's just so much simpler if you do it this way. But sure, while we wait, I'm gonna show you guys quickly. So same thing. If you want to do it manually in the same page, oh, and by the way, if you can't find where your groups are, you could always make sure you're logged into your side quest. Go to my account, and then you wanna, yeah, at the top uh, tabs here, groups and events, and you could, yeah, so you can see the latest ones are already here. So demo, and you want to go into manage group, and we'll go back to the same page that we were on earlier. So banter tab, and if you want to upload stuff manually, you could always just upload it from here. And would you look at that? We are actually encountering the second era. As you can see, the scene's been uploaded, but it's missing the Android, even though I did have Android toggled on. I know quite a few people has mentioned that they were getting this as well. So we'll fix that. And so if you want to manually upload stuff, you could always go into this page here and then come back to your project. There should be a folder called web roots now. So you open that, open and explore, and you should be seeing the asset bundle. So normally you will see the Windows.banter and also Android.banter, but the Android one did not build. So let's see what happens. So let's close this. Let's just close our project out. And now let's we open it again. And it should be taking us to save mode. There we go. Yep. So now it's telling you that, okay, there's something wrong. Don't panic. It's okay. So just enter save mode. And Yes, this would be the error that you're getting. So it's telling you that this Odin serializer, there's something wrong with it. And then the thing is, you can always read the error message. You would probably get a pretty good idea of what went wrong. So just read it. It's telling you, okay, Odin Inspector is incapable of compiling source code against the .NET Standard 2.0 API surface. So you can change the API capability level in the player settings. So basically, the console is already telling you the solution. So you just have to listen to what it says and go fix it. So go into edit, project settings, and just like I mentioned in the very beginning of the session, it's gonna be under the API capability level. And would you look at that? It has, for whatever reason, set it back to standard 2.0. So all you have to do is go into .NET Framework, click it, and close this. And as you can see, it's compiling scripts. So just wait for that. And once it finishes, it should take you back to out of safe mode automatically. Go ahead, designer girl.
Is this a Unity error or is it something to do with the Banter SDK? And will this be happen on repeat? Because it has obviously it's happened to me.
Yes, it does seems that it is a Banter SDK error, and they are aware of it. So either they would probably mention some stuff in some new documentations, or or maybe they can fix it on their end. But yeah, we'll see. But for the
Oh,
time
okay.
being, this is the solution. All right. So as you can see now, we are back into our scene. No more errors except the two that's been showing earlier, which we can ignore right now. And we're missing the Android one, so let's build it again. And it should be able to build the Android bundle. Thing upload. Yep, it should be good now. So now, if you go back to your project tab, go back to the web roots folder, and there we go. We could see both the Android.banter and Windows.banter asset bundles. And as well, there's always the index as well. So if you open the index, it's a very blank index, but this works. This is how Banter knows, okay, where to get the asset bundle, which is the same. This is like the default, which is the same URL that you uploaded it to. And if we go back to our SideQuest website and refresh that, and now you should see that, yep, that's right. We have both the Android and Windows uploaded now, as well as the index. And like I've mentioned earlier, if you do want to upload stuff manually, you could always just go here and just hit replace or upload and find your asset bundle to upload them manually. All right, so let's give this a try. We will jump into this empty space to take a quick look. Here we go. You should see this portal here. If you want to, there we go. We spawned in at the spot that I yep. And I don't know if you guys noticed, for anyone that joins in after, yeah, like Constantine there, it always you always get spawned in during the loading into the 0 point, and then it'll physically like move you to the point that we designated as a spawn point. That's just how Banter is. So yeah. So like let's say I'm gonna demonstrate it, I'm gonna rejoin, and you should see me spawn in over there and then quickly moved over here.